I can't believe I'm saying this, but Studio Bones is honestly kinda cooking with MHA Season 7. Ever since the 4th season, I've had my fair share of problems with how Bones went about adapting the manga. Whether it be the censorship, rearranging certain arcs, terrible art direction, and the animation, not doing enough justice to Horikoshi's incredible art for the manga. And don't even get me started on Bones prioritizing borderline filler movies over the anime. Season 6 was definitely a step in the right direction and had some great episodes, but I still felt like it wasn't consistent enough. And I was starting to feel like the anime will never make me feel what I felt watching the first few seasons or reading the manga. So, imagine my surprise when I started to get chills watching Endeavor vs All for One, Bakugo's Last Stand, Deku using Gearshift, and the glorious return of Gentle Criminal in the latest episode. The Gentle episode in particular moved me so much that I believe that it is one of the best My Hero episodes of all time. And I don't think it's recency bias because I absolutely loved this part of the manga as well. But what surprised me the most were moments I didn't particularly care about in the manga, such as the Spinner and Shoji stuff, or even some other episodes where the manga felt really slow because of the short weekly chapters paired with frequent delays from Horikoshi because of his health issues. Really hope that he's in better shape now after the end of the manga though. But yeah, I remember people not being a fan of how slow the war arc was happening in the manga, and the anime definitely alleviates this issue cause it's adapting 2 to 3 chapters per episode. The art direction has also been significantly better in Season 7. I remember Season 5 and 6 in particular having some really baffling art direction, which made some scenes lose their intensity or give you a tonal whiplash, and I really haven't had the same problem with this season. And now, let's talk about the animation. The animation still pales in comparison to other shonen anime like Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, or even the MHA movies, but all the major moments of this season have had some pretty great animation. It's not a Sakuga fest like some other anime, but I don't think I've been disappointed by the animation during all the important moments and episodes. And now, let's talk about some of my standout episodes of this season. First up is the Stars and Stripe episode. Personally not a huge fan of how Horikoshi handles this fight and Star's character, but this was still a really cool fight and the animation was pretty damn solid. I definitely prefer the manga for its insane art, but I can't even lie, Bones did a pretty good job with this one. Next up is the Endeavor episode, and needless to say, this was incredible. Endeavor is easily one of my favorite MHA characters, and of course an episode focused on him would be one of my standouts. The animation was great, and another thing that really stood out was the music in this episode. My Hero's music always used to hit really hard in the earlier seasons, and for some reason, after season 4 it just didn't hit the same as before. And this episode made me feel like I was back in the good old days, getting hyped up by the music as the characters go plus ultra. This episode also had Bakugo's new cluster, which was pretty cool, but the ghosting and dimming kind of ruined the scene for me, so I'm really looking forward to watching the Blu-ray version. Then we have the very next episode with the Bakugo stuff, and personally I wasn't a huge fan of this one story-wise, but it's undeniable that this was an extremely well produced episode of MHA. Lots of amazing drawings and cuts of animation that really make the episode feel alive, like that one shot of Bakugo walking lives rent free in my head. Such incredible stuff. Moving on, let's finally talk about the Gearshift episode. Deku finally arrives on the battlefield thanks to Mirio's incredible stalling. This episode had some really great animation with Deku finally using Gearshift and completely outclassing quirkless Shigaraki. Hearing Yusei run playing while Deku goes 120% on Shigaraki was insanely freaking hype and nostalgic, and it really feels like the magic MHA had in its earlier seasons is back in full force. I assume this is gonna be the highlight for most people so far, and I'd agree with them if I made this video a week earlier. The Gentle and La Brava episode is easily the best episode of this season so far, and I'll fight you if you disagree. Okay, maybe I won't, but still. If you were someone like me who actually paid attention to Gentle's character in the school festival arc, then you're definitely gonna feel some things watching him finally becoming a hero and saving UA from falling, and redeeming himself after he failed to save a civilian from falling to his death like UA because of his powers. And the fact that Gentle soloed a whole prison full of criminals while Might Yu was playing in the background almost made me tear up. His moment had great animation and some really nice impact frames as well. And everything comes full circle when Lady Nagant shoots Shigaraki, which is the payoff to Deku trying to reach out to villains and trying to understand them. And the episode ends with the perfect quote, reminding us that in the end, villains are still human, and we need to look at that part of them and understand why they became the way they are, their origins, which for Gentle and Nagant was wanting to be heroes and help people, something they failed to do previously because of Gentle making a single mistake and ruining his life, and Nagant being forced to do the dirty work for the fragile hero society. This episode was MHA at its peak and easily one of the best episodes so far. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this season so far. I think after 2 more episodes I'll be an anime only once again, and aside from the ending I don't really know any spoilers. Really excited to see how the rest of the season wraps up and eventually get back to reading the manga since it did finish recently. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel for more anime content, and follow me over on my Twitter account if you're interested. With all that being said though, have a nice rest of your day and peace.